Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird won't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring.
My name is Ethan Reed. I was born in Colorado, but for the last couple of years, I've been living alone, renting an old trailer out in southern Utah near Monument Valley. It's the kind of place where the dirt is red, the air is dry, and the sky burns orange every evening before it goes completely black. I worked for the Park Service, fixing road signs, maintaining trails, checking the camping zones. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills, and most importantly, it kept me away from people. Sometimes I thought the desert was the only place quiet enough for me to hear myself think. The desert doesn't talk. It just breathes. I lived in an old silver trailer, its paint peeling and metal sides creaking every time the wind blew. On one side, the canyon on the other, a dry riverbed where coyotes sometimes wandered. My nearest neighbor was 20 miles away. No cell service unless I climbed the ridge behind the trailer and faced east. The first week was calm. Then came the sounds. At first, just coyotes. Their howls were raw, wild, familiar. But one night, I heard something else. It was almost a coyote, but wrong. Too clean. Too precise. Like someone was imitating the sound without understanding what it meant. Each night, the voice came closer. And every time, the desert felt alive, like the ground itself was whispering beneath my feet. One night around 3 a.m, I woke to a soft knocking, not loud, just deliberate. I sat up, heart pounding. 3:16 a.m. No light, no sound, only the faint hum of wind outside. I got up, lifted the curtain just a little, nothing. But in the sand near the steps, I saw footprints, bare, with toes too long to be human. The next morning, I followed them. I took a flashlight, my old camera, and an old rifle the previous owner had left behind. The tracks led down the dried riverbed to an old wooden shack, half collapsed, reeking of dust, rot, and something metallic. Inside, a dead coyote. Its skin was gone, and on the wall, written in chalk, one word: listen. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat by the window watching the desert. Every sound felt amplified, every creak, every gust of wind. At midnight, I heard the knocking again, but this time, it was at the window. Then a voice, quiet, familiar. It said, "Ethan, let me in." It was my own voice. I froze. Light off, rifle in my hands, and outside the window, a shape. It looked like me, but twisted, like the bones under the skin didn't fit right. Its eyes were too wide. It smiled, too long. It said again, "It's cold. Let me in, Ethan." And then it was gone, like it had melted back into the dark. The next morning, I drove 20 miles to the sheriff's office in Mexican Hat. He listened quietly, then looked at me for a long time. Finally, he said, "Don't stay out there, son. Not near Navajo land." I asked him what he meant. He stared into his empty coffee cup. "If you ever hear someone calling your name, don't answer." When I got back that evening, there was something waiting by my trailer door. A fresh coyote skin. And underneath it, a handprint. Not human. That night, I set up my camera by the window. If it came again, I wanted proof. Around 2:47 a.m., the camera picked up a sound, rustling, then movement. Something crawled into frame. It moved on 4 legs, but its body was human. It stopped right in front of the window, and I saw my own face staring into the lens. Then it smiled, wide, wrong, and whispered, "I know you're watching." The camera shut off. I woke to the smell of smoke. The trailer was empty. On the wall above my bed, someone had written in black ash, "Run." So I did. I ran into the desert barefoot, the cold sand biting into my feet. The moon lit the path ahead and the wind screamed past my ears. And behind me, a voice. My voice, "Ethan, you can't run from yourself." When I reached the canyon, my lungs were burning, the air dry and sharp in my throat. Everything was silent. No coyotes, no wind. Just the soft crunch of sand beneath my boots. The moon hung low, painting everything in a pale, dead light. I stood at the edge. The riverbed below looked like a black scar across the land. Then I heard footsteps behind me. Slow, steady. I turned. For a second, I thought it was just me, my silhouette. Same build, same movement. But as it stepped closer, the moonlight touched its face, and I realized it wasn't mine. The skin was stretched too tight, like someone had worn it wrong. The eyes too dark, too deep. I bolted down the slope, rocks slicing my palms, sand flying into my mouth. Every echo of my steps was mirrored perfectly behind me. And then, my voice. "Ethan, wait. Please. Talk to me." I fell hard against a rock, the flashlight flickering beside me. When I looked up, the beam caught it, the thing crawling down the slope, on all fours, bones popping as it moved. And as it crawled closer, I heard it mimicking me, my cough, my breathing, even the panic in my voice. I ran, I don't know how long, maybe an hour, maybe less. Then, firelight, flickering between the rocks. An old man sat beside the flames. Weathered face, deep lines, a wide-brimmed hat. When he looked at me, he didn't seem surprised. He just said, "You're one of the ones who hear, aren't you?" I didn't understand. He nodded slowly. "They chose you. The ones who listen." He said his name was Ezra Bege, from the Navajo Nation. He lived alone, guarding this part of the desert. I told him everything. The voice, the shape, the coyote skin. He listened without blinking, then said, "Ye Nald Lushi, those who walk on all fours, witches who traded their souls for power. They wear skins, steal faces, mimic voices." I asked, "Why me?" He looked down at the sand. "Because you listen. Because you believe what you hear." What do? Don't look it in the eyes. Don't say your name. And if you hear yourself calling, don't answer. That night I stayed by the fire. The old man chanted in Navajo, throwing herbs into the flames. The smoke stung my eyes. The air felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath. Sometimes I heard laughter echoing across the canyon. Sometimes footsteps in the sand circling us. When I woke at dawn, Ezra was gone. Only his footprints remained in a small circle of stones with a cross through it. The air felt colder, emptier. I walked back toward the trailer. I needed to leave. But when I reached it, it was already too late. The door hung open. Inside was chaos. Broken glass, overturned chairs, everything scattered. And on the bed, something wrapped in my old blanket. A fresh coyote pelt, and beneath it, my wallet. Outside, the wind picked up. The door creaked in rhythm, like breathing. Then, the sound. At the window, and a whisper. My own voice. "Ethan, I just want to come home." From inside the trailer, I ran, jumped into my truck, turned the key. The headlights flickered weakly to life, and in their beam, it stood. My shape, my posture, but wrong. Arms too long, head tilted, eyes black as oil. I slammed the gas. As I passed it, it turned its head slowly and mouthed something. I couldn't hear it. but I read the lips. You didn't run. You are me. I drove all night. Didn't stop until I saw light, a gas station, a diner, a sign of life. I got out, walked toward the glass door, and froze. In the reflection, it wasn't me. My face was wrong, the eyes too dark, the smile trembling. I blinked. The reflection didn't. I don't sleep much now, because sometimes when I start to drift off, I hear a voice. My voice whispering right next to me. You forgot Ethan. Which one of us is real?